Hello, family members. I hope you're having a nice day today. I want to take a moment and tell you a story that doesn't have the happiest of endings, but quite a few twists and turns along the way. And we'll see what you think about this. So, the year that I turned 35, that following summer, my brother had his first child. Well, his wife had their first child. And I had discussed ahead of time not going up there immediately when she was born, but a few weeks afterwards so I could help out. And, there'd be less people around, less stress on my sister in law and my brother and everything. And I went, even though I was really, really sick. I was determined to meet my niece. I'm Auntie Elaine. I was ready to meet that niece of mine. And I got up there and I could barely do anything. I held her for like a couple of days. And then I went to my parents' house, recovered for most of the week, and then returned home against my mom's very fervent objections because she was very worried that I was too ill to make it home. But somehow I made the 900-mile plus trek from West Virginia to Florida and went back to work for a few weeks before I got so sick. I couldn't live like that anymore. I literally broke down and I was like, I cannot live like this anymore. And I was right because I went to the ER. I didn't have a doctor, like a regular doctor, and so it was hard for me to get any help when I first got sick. And I had a really easy job, like physically. It was stay-at-home kind of working at your desk kind of job, easy stuff, like physically, not mentally. And when I went into the ER, they found out that my spleen had gotten 3 sizes too big or something. I don't know, it was ridiculously big. It was taking up so much of my abdominal cavity that I was starving to death because there was no room in my stomach for anything. And it was because I had cancer. And that's just the beginning of my story. That's not how I ended up being disabled. That's just the prelude. So I had blood cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I got 6 months of chemo and haven't really had any issues with the lymphoma since then. Seemed like the cancer part of my story is basically over. And after the 6 months of chemo, I was laid low and I was determined to get my stamina back. And so I started hiking like right away as soon as I got off the chemo and I could start doing more hiking and stuff. And I got to a point where in that summer I was hiking 7 days a week in Florida in August, which meant that my trail was completely flooded and I just got like big, like knee-high muck boots and went hiking through, a pretty substantially weighted out trail or flooded out trail and just wade hiking. My dog loved it, so, but that kind of got broken up when the winter comes and more people are out on the trails and my dog's antisocial and it's just a lot more work. And so I kind of got out of the habit. And then of course COVID and then everything was weird, right? So it was April of 21 and my parents had left, they're snowbirds, and so they leave at the end of the spring and go up to West Virginia for the summer. And they had just left for the summer, and I was just sick every day. And I'm like, I can't do this. This is, too much like the last time, right? And so I got myself a doctor. I, tried to figure out what was going on. Seemed like it was something maybe related to my gallbladder, and there was signs of issues with my gallbladder on some imaging, and my doctor wasn't very present. And so I went through heaven and hell to get my gallbladder out that summer, thinking that was going to fix me. And it didn't. And I kept getting sicker and sicker. And I had it set up so that I could take off as much time from work as I needed to. I had a doctor's note saying that I could take as many hours as I needed. And it got to a point where I realized that I was missing so much work that it was actually less money than if I had just gone on like a medical leave and gotten temporary disability. And so I had an appointment coming up with the Cleveland Clinic in January when I was going to turn 40. And that was like November, and I was like, well, I'll just go on disability for November, December, and then hopefully in January I'll go to the clinic, get some treatment, and have some sort of idea when I can go back to work. That was my thinking. And I haven't worked since. And I hate that. I hate it. I liked my job. It was challenging. It was fun. It was stressful. It was work, but I'm a very curious person, and it required a lot of research and finding resources and, digging into things and figuring out what happened and how to handle it. And I love that kind of work. I loved it so much. I wouldn't have stopped working if I absolutely couldn't. I got to the point where I couldn't work. I could not work. I'd go in every morning, and all the tasks that I had to do that day, I'd figure out how to either do them quickly or reschedule them, and then I'd leave for the day. That was all I was doing, because it was all I was up to doing. It was all I could do. And it was time for me to step down and step aside and get answers, right? So I can't even explain how devastating it was when I went to the Cleveland Clinic, got my appointment, and nothing came from it. Nothing. They refused to run some tests because I'm a medical marijuana user, which was weird and bizarre. And later on, my gastroenterologist actually ran the test. They refused to run and was able to at least tell me that I have gastroparesis, which is something, right? Yeah. And since then, I haven't gotten really any answers. There's something autoimmune, but it's not diagnosed yet. There's something going on with my GI tract, but it's not diagnosed yet. I have just uncontrollable anemia. I probably always am anemic. I probably need to go get like iron infusions or something, like probably every 3 months or something. But my insurance situation has been so complicated because my financial situation has been so complicated that I've had to like change several types of doctors, and I've seen like more than a dozen doctors over the last 4 years. And, a lot of them are helpful, but the help that they can give only goes so far because nobody knows what's going on with me. And I'm fighting to get my disability so that I can have some financial stability so that maybe I can actually focus on this health issue and try to sort it out. But the government is fighting me at every step, and it's so frustrating. It feels like they want to find a reason to deny me. And it feels like that's going to be easy for them in some ways because it's hard to document what's going on with me. I don't have a diagnosis. And a lot of my symptoms are not necessarily obvious. Like, I can't remember things. I can't focus. I used to read all the time and I can't read anymore. Everything in my life is so hard and humiliating. And I wouldn't have chosen this for anything. I'm just begging for just a little bit of help so that my family isn't stressed out, because they're the ones that are supporting me right now. If it weren't for my parents, I would be homeless, and that I'm medically fragile enough that I do believe that would kill me. And being an aromantic woman, that's even more complicated, you know? People my age in their 40s usually have a romantic partner that helps support them. Or children, maybe even, to help support them, if not financially, at least emotionally, you know? Like physically take care. I have nobody to take care of me. Because my parents are in their 70s. They need me to take care of them. My mom literally just left to go to the ER with my dad because she's so sick. And it's scary because I want to be there. I would want to go help. Make sure she got dropped off okay, at least, or something. And I can't because I've been having such bad belly stuff. I have to be near the bathroom all the time, which is humiliating. And sometimes it hurts so bad. All I can do is just curl up in a fetal position in my bed. Everything hurts. Everything hurts all the time. Not literally everything. But my stomach right here hurts all the time, I'll tell you that. And I've had pain basically everywhere in my body. And I don't do any of the things that I used to do. I used to enjoy wildlife photography. I haven't done that in years, literally. You know, other than what I can see from my back porch or my back window or maybe in the front yard, that's the extent of the wildlife viewing I get to do. If I'm up to it, whenever I have to go to a doctor's appointment, I might be able to look out the window and try to spot some hawks or something, you know. But that was a huge part of my life. That's something that helped me get through chemo. And it's just gone, taken from me. I used to go to drag shows all the time. I loved drag shows. And then cancer, and then COVID, and then this. And I haven't been drag show in years, and I hate it. I have friends who are drag queens, and I want to go out and support them, and I can't. I have friends and family that are in need, that I'd love to be able to help, that I'd love to be able to go see and support. But I can't see anyone unless they can come to me. And that's not easy. That's a big ask. Because most of the people that I really care about don't live in the same town as me. You know, I have family over on the coast and friends from back where I went to college and, you know, in West Virginia and Pennsylvania and Ohio. I mean, my people are all over the place. The Carolinas, I mean, it doesn't end. I have my special people are everywhere. And we've always kept in touch because of the internet and whatnot. But all of us are stressed. All of us are busy. All of us are struggling. How are we going to lift each other up when we're barely keeping our heads above water? But I think that's what we have to do. After everything that's happened with politics and the world, yeah, baby growl. That's the appropriate response there. I think the thing to do is not to check out, but to check in with your community. My dad is like, we should just raise the white flag of surrender and just check. And I'm like, no. Apathy is who won in that last election. If you took everybody who voted and combined them, it wasn't enough to beat the amount of people who didn't vote. Now, of course, not every single one of those people is registered or is eligible to vote, rather, but that's who won. Checking out won. Checking out is how we got where we are. It's time for us to check in. It's time for us to build our local communities and also our niche communities that meet online. You know, they may not be local in the sense of geographically local, but local in the sense that it's a small group supporting each other that's part of a larger community. I'm really pleased that around here there's a lot of really nice pride organizations, and I wish I could do more for that or go to the things, but I've always tried to like hype them up on social media, you know, and it may be a small thing, but it's something. Every little thing that you do to hype up and build up the small communities around you that need support is vastly, vastly more valuable than you think it is. You know, it's kind of like being a women's sports fan. You know, you as one fan are the equivalent of like maybe hundreds or thousands of fans in other leagues. You know, you're really important to that fan community because it's small and it's growing and it needs to grow even more. And so that's where we need to find ourselves. We need to find ourselves in our smaller communities. Well, I wanted to tell my disability story and I kind of got off track there. But, you know, I just kind of felt like I needed to share that to a certain extent because I refer to my disability a lot. And, you know, I figured it'd be nice if there was a video people could watch that kind of give them the update on how we got here. You know, as far as symptoms go, I have flares in the joints of my body randomly, but seem to be aggravated with repetitive use. And they happen anywhere: wrist, shoulder, neck, leg, side. I get awful muscle cramps. It's difficult to eat. I cannot eat anything with fiber. I can't eat anything with too much seasoning. I can't eat vegetables. I miss salad. But, you know, I have a lot of really small symptoms that can flare up into absolutely debilitating symptoms randomly, and I never know what the situation's gonna be. So, baby, you don't need to bark. I know. She's on edge because mommy and daddy had to leave and go to the hospital. She's worried about mommy and daddy, aren't you? That's what gets me through these dogs, I tell you. If it weren't for my friends and my family and my pets, I don't know how I'd live. And, you know, I've built a little community around myself that I'm kind of proud of. And it may not be much, but it's mine and I'm proud of it. So if you're part of my community, if you're watching this, you're part of my community. I'm proud of you, you know? I'm proud of you for actually taking the time to listen to somebody. I mean, I don't know what the odds are that many people are actually watching at this point in the video, but if you are, you know, thank you and God bless you. Or if you're not into the man upstairs, just thank goodness for you. Whatever it is that would make you feel affirmed and validated and wanted and loved. Because to me, people who watch my videos are people who are willing to think about things a little more deeply. And to me, those people are extraordinarily valuable to the world. So just by virtue of the behaviors you're exhibiting, I can say that about you. Oh my gosh, family members. It's been a year already. The motto for 2025 is, it's been a long time, but we'll get there. So keep that in mind, all right? Now, BB, can you say hi to the nice peoples? Can you? Can you say hi? Can you be a nice people dog? Oh, can you? Okay. Oh. She's a sweetheart. All right. And Kimmy. Don't forget about Kimmy. There's your Kimmy. There's your Kimmy right there. There's your Kimmy. That's where the Kimmy looked like. Oh, yes. And the Casey's over there. Casey. He's just a lump. He's just a lump. All right, family members. Take care of yourself. We'll talk to you later.